Hey guys, Kkstar12 here, and today I'm giving you my top 10 favorite Disney villains. So let's begin. Number 10, Ursula from The Little Mermaid. I put Ursula at the bottom of the list because she was just like all the other dull and boring villains, because all she wanted was power. But the way she gets it is by tricking a 16-year-old girl. Now that's pretty low. But I also love the fact how she tricks Eric too by changing herself into another woman, and then releasing a spell from her necklace into Eric's eyes to trick him into marrying her. Now, that's a pretty sinister plan, don't you think? Overall, I loved Ursula, but she wasn't one of my favorites. But I loved her villain song, by the way. It was awesome. Number 9, Professor Robert Callahan from Big Hero 6. Honestly, I thought this guy was dead alongside with Hero's brother Tadashi, but when we finally figure out who the guy in the mask was, it was pretty shocking to hear that it was Callahan. Why? Because he wanted justice for his daughter. He wanted revenge on this other guy named Alistair Cray because he sent his daughter Abigail into a space pod for a research project, and it was supposed to transport her from one portal to the next, but unfortunately the portals broke down, and she never returned. So for revenge, Callahan wanted to destroy Cray's school and his life. So as you can see, Professor Callahan was just like all the other villains as well. They were evil, for revenge. But, I kind of don't blame Callahan because if something happened like that to one of my family members, I'd feel like turning evil too. So, but still no excuse. But anyway, that's my opinion on Professor Callahan. Number 8, Professor Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective. I liked this guy because not only did he kidnap an old man, say an old mouse, Mr. Flaversham, and forced him to build a robotic replica of the Mouse Queen to make it look like to the public that she's making him ruler of the land, but he also kidnaps his daughter Olivia and threatens to kill her if he doesn't go through with his plans. Now that's pretty intimidating for a kid's film. On top of that, he threatens anybody to get eaten by his cat Felicia if they ever called him a rat. Now, that was scary and funny at the same time. And I just loved how evil he was and so funny. He was just evil and funny at the same time, and I loved it. And I loved his villain songs too, by the way. They were stuck in my head forever after I learned them. Number 7, Madame Medusa from The Rescuers. This was one of my favorite films when I was a kid, alongside with The Little Mermaid and Oliver and Company, which I'll get to in just a few minutes. Medusa was somebody that I would imagine that I would ever come across with if I were ever kidnapped. Her motivation was to kidnap a little girl named Penny and use her to find a very valuable diamond called the Devil's Eye. And so, what's so funny about her was the fact that she was motherly loving towards Penny just so she can get her to get the diamond. But when Penny's not around, she acts like a psychotic idiot around her sidekick Snoops and tries to harass him a lot. So that was pretty funny to watch. And I loved her alligators, by the way, Brutus and Nero. They were funny too. So that's Madame Medusa. Number 6, Sykes from Oliver and Company. This was one of my favorite films as a kid. And to be honest, I think that Sykes was one of the most confusing villains I have ever came across. Because we know that this other guy named Fagin owed him money, but we never knew why. My sister asked me that the other day, one time when I was watching it. She asked me the same question, why does Fagin owe him money? And I was like, I have no idea. If any of you guys know, or if you know somebody that might know, let me know in the comments. So he was actually kind of like Gaston in a way, because, Gaston would do anything to marry Belle, including, trapping her father in a psychiatric ward until she agrees to marry him. But in this case, Sykes wanted money, and he did anything to get it. even if it included kidnapping a little girl named Jenny. So that was pretty interesting to watch. And like I said, he's just like Gaston, except tougher and bigger and not prissy. So, but he was still a good villain. So that was my part 1 of my top 10 favorite Disney villains, and I will see you in part 2. Bye!